So that makes the price of 1 liter crude oil 35.3 rupees. But the petrol price for 1 liter is about 106.8 rupees. So where is the 71.5 rupees, that is 67% of the price is going? India is the exception here, where the petrol taxes have always been on the higher side. Food grains, toys, medicines, cosmetics, everything is linked with petrol and diesel. And sometimes these state governments take advantage of it. Before we understand how government controls petrol prices, we need to understand how petrol is made. You see, all the petroleum related products like petrol, diesel, kerosene, etc. are extracted from crude oil, and the process is called refining. India only gets 20 to 25% of its crude oil from domestic extraction, while the rest is imported from outside India. So the crude oil prices in global market and value of rupee in forex market is very crucial for determining the petrol prices in India. Currently, crude oil price is at $68.5 per barrel and exchange rate is about 81.7 rupees per dollar. So that makes the cost of 1 barrel crude oil rupees 5,607. Now 1 barrel equals 159 liters. So that makes the price of 1 liter crude oil at about 35.3 rupees. But the petrol price for 1 liter is about 106.8 rupees. So where is the 71.5 rupees, that is 67% of the price is going? Oil companies rarely purchase the crude oil at current market price because they generally have long-term contracts. So their actual price would come from averaging of certain period. But let's take that for our example. Ideally, price of petrol in a country should be directly related to the global prices of its input, crude oil. But it is not due to two reasons: intermediary processes and government intervention. What is this intermediary processes? After the oil companies purchases crude oil, it needs to go under the refining process to produce kerosene, petrol, diesel, etc. Now, crude oil is a complex mixture that can extract about 1500 byproducts. But in India, only about 150 byproducts is extracted. This is due to this refining process is customized for the country's needs and its oil company's capabilities. Globally, on an average, 1 barrel of crude oil extracts about 20 gallons of petrol, 12 gallons of diesel, 4 gallons of jet fuel, and few other byproducts. The cost of refining varies on the type of crude oil and technology used. Usually, lighter the crude and larger the refinery, lower is the refining expenses. Indian oil refineries gets majority of the crude oil from outside India and a little bit domestically too. They refine it to produce petrol, diesel and other byproducts and then sell it to the dealers. On an average, a dealer gets the petrol at the rate of 57 rupees per liter. And from there, the role of the government starts. Central government levies rupees 19.9 per liter, that is 20% as excise duty. Now, petrol and diesel are not covered under GST, so state government levies VAT that varies state-wise. But let's take VAT rate for West Bengal, that is 24.2%. So in total, you pay about 39.9 rupees per liter in taxes. That is 37% of the petrol prices. If that seems too high, let me tell you, in 2020, India had 69% of tax on petrol. It was the highest in the world, way ahead of USA, UK or other rich countries. Normally what happens is the rich and developed countries have higher taxes on petrol, whereas the poorer or developing countries have lesser tax on petrol. But India is the exception here, where the petrol tax have always been on the higher side. However, since 2020, government has been reducing the taxes on petrol and diesel. The most recent cut was in May 2022, where central government reduced the excise duty on petrol by 8 rupees per liter and on diesel by 6 rupees per liter. This price cut implies the loss of government for about rupees 1 lakh crore per year. To give you a quantum of this loss, for year 21-22, government's total income from taxes was rupees 18 lakh crore only. So 1 lakh crore is a huge deal for the government. Apart from this, we know that state government further levies taxes on petrol and diesel. So the ultimate retail price in a state is in the hands of the state government. And sometimes these state governments take advantage of it. They do not pass the reduction in taxes by central government to its consumers in the state. Instead, they raised their tax here to keep the prices at the same level. Nirmala Sitharaman even issued a warning to the states to pass on the benefits on the recent price cut. While we all might wish for lower fuel prices, but Nirmala Thai can't just wake up one day and slash the prices by half. As per the Petroleum Ministry's report, 70% of the diesel and 99.6% of the petrol is used in the transport sector alone. Food grains, toys, medicines, cosmetics, everything is linked with petrol and diesel. Slashing the petrol diesel prices big time would increase the money supply in the economy drastically, as people would be left with more money to spend, and eventually inflation would start going up. A definite recipe for disaster. In conclusion, high fuel prices in India are due to the country's heavy reliance on import of crude oil and the excessive taxes. While we all may wish for lower fuel prices, it is important to remember the complex web of factors involved, and there can be adverse effects of sudden and drastic changes in fuel prices. The government needs to strike a balance between providing relief to its citizens and maintaining the stability in the economy. That's it from my side. I hope you had a good time. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.